Hey everyone, welcome to Realization Hub. My name is Michelle, and I'm an intuitive healer and teacher who loves to work with highly sensitive people and intuitives, helping them to bring balance to their energy, develop their intuition, and tap into the deeper purpose that they are here to embody in the world. Today's energy update is for the new moon in Pisces happening on Thursday. Sorry, happening on Wednesday, March 18th at 3:26 p.m. Hawaii time. First of all, a new moon in Pisces. This is like a new beginning. Pisces is the last sign of the zodiac. It is a water sign, mutable sign, and feminine sign, which just means it's receptive, it's emotional, it's intuitive, and it's adaptable. It's very fluid. A new moon is essentially like fertile soil. This is a really good time for you to start to tap into some intentions that you have, some intentions that are naturally coming to the surface right now for you and your life and what you're here to embody or create, but also any intentions that you want to journal about and specifically set for these energies that are occurring right now. I want to give some background first before we talk about this new moon. We've been in a Mercury retrograde in Pisces for the past few weeks, and that just means that we've been more internal. For us intuitives and for us sensitive people, this is like a type of spiritual incubation period for those of us that are sensitive leaders that are here to embody a deeper purpose in the world. Like this was a spiritual incubation period. Because what's happening right now is that we are in a late stage gestation process where we will be birthing a new version of ourselves into the world during this new moon. We're birthing a new version of ourselves that is both active, as kind of masculine in nature, like it it can implement things, can take action. It takes more direct action to our goals and our desires and what we're here to create. So it's a new version of us that is spiritually more active, but it's also a spiritual version of us that is very intuitive and sensitive and empathic and um, connected to our overall vision and connected to our creativity and our creative nature and how we create in a way that is much more vast on a soul level, on a more that a part of us that is in tune with our soul's intelligence and how we create experiences here and how we create something that we're envisioning and bringing it down into the physical and creating it in the physical and building it in the physical. Now, when we think about this overall process of having some kind of purpose in the world as a sensitive leader in the world or a spiritual leader in the world, that bigger vision that you may have, or the bigger dream that you may have, or the embodiment that that you're inspired to do or feeling called to do, in the past, we may have approached that in a way that may have felt overwhelming, by looking at all the details and trying to figure out an overall plan and trying to implement that plan and follow that plan in a way that's like perfect or in a way that is very detail oriented. And this is a new moon where we kind of ditch that. We move away from that old way of navigating our creations. That's an old way of navigating how you build things in the world. It's an old way of embodying what you need to embody in the world. I'm not saying that it's wrong or that we don't need to have a plan. and that we don't need to pay attention to details. I'm just saying that this is a new beginning. This is a new moon for, our world, our new world that we are leading. And that oftentimes, if we follow a plan, we are thinking about the way we create things in a very linear way, in a way that's more predictable. And that's just not the way we work anymore. That's not the way we function anymore as enlightened, sensitive leaders, as divine humans, as conscious humans, as sensitive, intuitive leaders in the world. We don't function that way. We don't operate that way, and we certainly don't create big things that way. First of all, this new beginning is like a birth of this identity that is both active but also intuitive. And this is where we approach what we're building in our lives and what we're embodying in our lives more intuitively through pivots, shifts, and changes. Instead of having a plan that we follow with all the details that make sense to us, we're 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 being more synchronistic, we're being more intuitive, we're taking little leaps into new potentials throughout our day, and we're allowing ourselves to have shifts occur on a daily basis, or we're allowing pivots to occur on a daily basis, or changes that can occur on a daily basis that lead us to an overall transformation in our lives around what we're building and creating and embodying here that hasn't existed before. I'm going to give a little example. Like, let's say you're a chef and you are doing meal preps for a small family and you have a toaster oven. And so far, you've been able to make some extra cash, like have a side gig making meal prep for a small family and using a toaster oven. But let's say you start to get a good word of mouth and you start to have like two or three other families asking you if you can do meal prep for them. And it becomes very clear that you do not have what you need in order to sustain that level of expansion and that level of growth. And so you are being brought through an initiation of sorts of, wow, I have suddenly people asking for more from me, and I don't have the system, I don't have the structure in my life to hold that, to contain that. I have to initiate action into my life so that I can build something new, so that I can expand and grow with this new service that I have that's expanding for me, that's expanding with me. And instead of just buying like an oven for your house, you start to think bigger. You start to think, oh, what if I rented a commercial kitchen, or what if I got an investor to invest in this and I hired help? What if I turned this into a bigger business that served the entire community? And the dream just starts getting bigger and bigger and bigger and expanding more and more and more. And that's kind of the flavor of this new moon. It's that whatever we're planting here at this time, it starts to grow. It really starts to grow and expand, and it can bring us more abundance. It can bring us more opportunities. It can bring us more possibilities. But we have to be willing to adapt and shift and change and grow with it. We have to be intuitive. We can't just have it all planned out and follow it step by step. It happens through shifts, unexpected changes, pivots, innovation, inspiration, suddenly following your intuition and letting it open up something new for you that requires some action. But when you take that action, it brings more income, or it brings more business, or it brings more change in your life that is good, that is beneficial for you. And so, really, this new moon is about the way we translate spirit into action, the way we translate intuition into action, instead of it having to be linear and planned and carried out to detail and to understand all the details of our plan. It's more about staying open, trusting, sensing, recognizing when there's a new opportunity or a new potential that you can kind of leap into. And I'm not talking about big leaps of faith. I'm talking about, just trusting the way your day may change and leaping into that change when it happens, even if it's something that you didn't plan. Do it anyways because it's your soul's intelligence, it's your intuitive intelligence that is bringing something together for you, and it requires you to participate in it instead of ignore it and say, nope, that wasn't my plan. I had the plan to do my bookkeeping today, not to get in my car and go to a networking business meeting and suddenly meet, the person that I'm going to be collaborating with for the next, 5 years. That's kind of what I'm talking about here. The way we build what we're building, the way we embody what we're embodying, it's changing. It's no longer through our tiny, detailed, elaborate plans that we have to implement over time. It happens through shifts and pivots and changes and nonlinear fluidity that's tied to our soul's intelligence, our intuitive intelligence. And we both need to be active and practical and implement action as well as be able to sense and be sensitive to the opportunities and the potentials that are around us at all times that can really help us navigate our creations more wisely and more efficiently. So, one of the bigger challenges that I think this new moon brings up for us has to do with how we work together. Now, we have something standing out around this new moon that's pointing at us as sensitive individuals that need to assert ourselves and work with other people, in order to bring our dreams into reality, in order to build what we're here to build or embody what we're here to embody. And we have to be able to both assert ourselves, to come into more confidence, to move more directly towards what we want, as well as embrace a sense of safety between us, as well as embrace a sense of emotional intelligence between us, as well as taking growth in our relationships that is safe, sensitive, and healing for us. And that's where the challenge is. A lot of people, when they need to assert themselves, they may have conflicting needs. They may have, it may bring up a fight. It may bring up a challenge in the relationship that requires there to be growth, that requires there to be emotional intelligence, that requires there to be safety in order to move through those relational challenges, to move through those relational issues around self-confidence and asserting oneself, so that you can really embrace the opportunity, so that you can really build and embody what you're here to build, so that you're able to work with other people and grow with other people and embrace opportunities with other people. So overall, I see this new moon in Pisces as a type of spiritual rebirth. We are birthing a new identity that's coming into the world that is both action oriented, but also connected to our soul's intelligence and our intuitive intelligence that helps us navigate what we're building in a more intuitive way, in a more sensitive way, in a more relational way, where we're able to translate that spirit into action and really focus on building the foundations and the structure and the containment that we need for our dreams, for what we're building here, for what we're becoming here, for what we're doing here. And so one thing that I'm noticing about, this community is, as we're preparing for more action in our lives, you may have identified energy leaks in your relationships, energy leaks in the foundations of your life, energy leaks in how you've been doing things, or you've been noticing things dissolving because they weren't sustainable, because the way they were built wasn't going to work for you in the long run. And this is a new beginning where we can reimagine and restructure and reform new containment, new structure, new foundations, new relationship boundaries, new structure for our relationships and for our creations and for who we're becoming that can contain it in a very safe way, in a very efficient way, so that, we can really do what we're here to do in the world, create what we're here to create in the world, and really translate that intuitively and allow that to happen intuitively through more pivots, shifts, changes, little leaps, non-linear ways, and just trust the process instead of needing it to be all planned out in detail and know the whole plan all at once. All right, everyone, it was so good connecting with you. I would love to hear from you what you're building, what your dreams are. If you have any Pisces placements or what house this new moon is falling in your natal chart, what's coming up for you, what's resonating with you. If you're listening to this on YouTube, would you please do me a favor and like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit the notification bell so you can receive notifications anytime I upload a video. And if you're listening to this on Spotify, please follow the podcast and give it a 5-star rating for me. That would help me out a lot. And if you're ever interested in working with me, you can find more information in the description box. I offer free 15-minute consultations as well as astrology readings, energy healings, intuitive readings, and I can also talk to you about classes if you'd like to develop your own intuition and learn how to manage your energy. So good to see you, and I will see you on the next one. Take care, everyone. Bye.